So how many Biltmores are in Asheville? It's one of those things, if you know, you know, but if you've never been to Asheville but heard some things about Asheville, you probably heard about Biltmore Estate. Biltmore Estate is America's largest home that was built by George Vanderbilt in the beginning of 20th century. It has over 250 rooms, and it is Asheville's top attraction and tourist destination. If you were to come and visit Asheville to check out its neighborhoods, communities, places to live in and around Asheville, it can get a little confusing. And how do I know it? I know it from experience talking to people who are relocating to the Asheville, who are coming to Asheville to check it out to see if this is the right area for them. So we're staying right around Biltmore, and we're gonna check out that area right around where we're staying. Or we looked at some houses and some properties right around Biltmore, and we really like that area. Excuse me, which Biltmore are you talking about? What do you mean? Most people who are new to the area, who've never been to the area, or maybe they visited as tourists and didn't really had that experience of looking at the area with the eyes of a local or somebody who would live here, do not realize that there is a number of communities and neighborhoods in Asheville that have Biltmore as part of their name. So in this video, I'm gonna cover 5 main, biggest, nicest communities that have the name Biltmore as part of their name. So next time you come to visit Asheville, you're not going to be confused and you will know the area like a pro. Hi, this is ℂ𝕍𝕠𝕟𝕟𝕼 with Nesting Dolls Realty, powered by eXp Realty here in Asheville, North Carolina. Welcome back to my channel. It is so good to see you all. So most of the content in this channel I come up with because of the need, because of the conversations that I have with people visiting the area, because of their questions or comments that I get on this channel, not because I'm copying somebody else's. And this topic comes up a lot from people visiting the area and who do get so confused when they try to explore the area and we try to communicate back and forth about which Biltmore are they talking about? So it all starts with the Biltmore. Not a place where you can live, you can visit it as a tourist, you can have an annual pass like we do and come and visit it and go on a hike there, not somewhere you can live. But other places, other 5 places are places where you can stay, where you can go shopping, where you can live. The first one is historic Biltmore Village. Historic Biltmore Village is located right at the entrance to Biltmore Estate. It was created to house the construction people who were working on Biltmore Estate back in the day, back when they were building and working on Biltmore Estate. These days, Biltmore Village is a home to over 40 stores and about 10 cafes and restaurants. There's also All Souls Cathedral that is located right in Biltmore Village. Tons of retail stores, a little grocery store that opened up just recently, a couple of banks, and world's fanciest McDonald's that is located also in Biltmore Village. Grand Bohemian Hotel is also located in Biltmore Village, and you wouldn't tell that it is a newer hotel, newer addition to Biltmore Village, because they made it look exactly like the rest of the older houses and older buildings in Biltmore Village. It is a very interesting place. I recommend, if not staying, checking it out, coming for brunch, lunch, breakfast, or coming for drinks. So now you can obviously stay in Biltmore Village. There's a number of other hotels right around Biltmore Village, in walking distance to Biltmore Village. Grand Bohemian Hotel is right there in Biltmore Village. Technically, you cannot live in Biltmore Village, although I did see a condo, a very small apartment a few years back, but I couldn't find where it was, that was located right in Biltmore Village. It was tiny, in one of the oldest houses there. Outside of that, technically, you do not live in Biltmore Village. However, there are neighborhoods that are adjacent to Biltmore Village and are in walking distance to Biltmore Village. Kenilworth is one of them. I just covered it in my previous videos. Oakley is also within walking distance to Biltmore Village. Shiloh, on the other side, is also in the close proximity to Biltmore Village. Some people consider this adjacent neighborhood that's right on the outskirts of Biltmore Village to be living in Biltmore Village, although technically there's no association, there's no HOA, but all these neighborhoods that are kind of situated and hugging Biltmore Village are within walking distance to Biltmore Village. So this is number one. This is the closest to Biltmore Estate, to the actual Biltmore, where you can go dining, you can go shopping, you can go check out galleries. They have festivals there, art festival every year, but you cannot technically live right in Biltmore Village. Biltmore Forest, however, that is located right across the street on the southern side of Biltmore Estate. It is located kind of between Biltmore Estate, Blue Ridge Parkway, and Hendersonville Road. On the other side is a neighborhood, is a historic neighborhood that was established pretty much at the same time that Biltmore Village was established. They decided to chop off some of the land that Vanderbilt's owned at the time because of the flooding and taxation, and it's just like too much maintenance for them. So they subdivided that land and sold vacant lots to residents for residential use only. They ranged anywhere from 3 to 5 acres. These days, Biltmore Forest is one of the most, if not the most expensive neighborhoods to live in Western North Carolina. In fact, Biltmore Forest is not even a neighborhood, it is actually a town. And median sales price in Biltmore Forest last year was $1.8 million. The town of Biltmore Forest provides a full range of services, including police, public works, water, zoning, and sanitation. Once you check out the Biltmore House and its grounds, you can go have lunch in Biltmore Village and then cross the street and check out Biltmore Forest. When you go, do not speed. Like I mentioned, they have their own police and you do not want to speed in Biltmore Forest. It is a very quaint, very established neighborhood with tons of historic homes. Some of them are very expensive, very large. In fact, I think one of the most expensive homes a couple of years ago was sold in Biltmore Forest. It went for, I want to say $9 million or something like that, or $8.9 million. But there are also some more affordable homes that are located also in Biltmore Forest. Just like in many other neighborhoods, historic neighborhoods, you have a big mansion that is, 5-10,000 square feet, and then you have a more modest brick ranch style home. It's not going to be a steal, but it's going to be a lot more affordable. And of course, Biltmore Forest has its own country club. So if you love golf and large, historic, expensive homes, Biltmore Forest might be a right place for you. As you move more south down Hendersonville Road, Ramble Biltmore Forest is the next neighborhood that I wanted to cover in this video. It is number 3. It's number 3 on my list. Ramble Biltmore Forest is a private gated community that is located kind of on one side. It has Hendersonville Road, Blue Ridge Parkway on the other side, and the fourth neighborhood that I'm going to be talking about on the other side. The great thing about Ramble Biltmore Forest, outside the fact that it is super centrally located, it is gated, has tons of trails, and there's more vacant lots to come to build on. It is located outside of city limits, so you do not get to pay, or you do not have to pay, rather, Asheville city taxes. So that's one of the greatest things about Ramble Biltmore Forest. Also, HOA is pretty low for a community like that. It's under $400, and it includes access to, like I said, all the trails, security, gym, outdoor pool, tennis courts, pickleball courts. Again, tons of trails, community events, and community space. So there's a ton to do in Ramble Biltmore Forest without breaking the bank. Outside the fact that it is also not the cheapest neighborhood around town. Median sales price in Ramble Biltmore Forest last year was $2.3 million. And I know it's more expensive than Biltmore Forest, But Ramble Biltmore Forest is the newest. I think it's the newest out of all 5 neighborhoods that I'm covering today. So houses there are newer. Some of them are brand new. Some of them are being built as we speak. In fact, I covered some of them in one of the videos. I'm gonna link it up right here. Actually, I'm gonna put it in the description so you can come back after you finish this video all the way to the end. Don't go there right now. But you can buy a vacant lot there right now and build your dream home in the woods, in the middle of the wooded area. Very nice, very private, very secure. Or you can buy one of the existing homes that is not as old, no historic homes, none of that Biltmore Forest has to offer, but more, also established neighborhood with newer homes. Now, moving more south on Hendersonville Road and kind of going southwest, Biltmore Park is on the southern side of Ramble Biltmore Forest. In fact, they have a little gate that connects them to. So you from Ramble Biltmore Forest, you can go to Biltmore Park. You can't go back into Ramble unless you live there and you have a little clicker. But if you come in from Ramble, you can go to Biltmore Park through Ramble Biltmore Forest. Biltmore Park is probably one of the most well-known neighborhoods in Asheville, in the whole Asheville area. Biltmore Park is the first mixed-use community in Asheville, North Carolina. It is also a newer community, but it's been there, I want to say 20 or 30 years probably at this point. The idea behind Biltmore Park is to reduce the use of cars. Because as we all know, or maybe you heard, Asheville has a huge car culture. Asheville is not very walkable. There's not a lot of places to walk unless you live in downtown or some more walkable neighborhoods that I covered in some other videos, links in the description. So Biltmore Park was created so that people could walk more and use cars less. One part of Biltmore Park is dedicated to all kinds of retail. There's a hotel, biggest movie theater in Asheville is in Biltmore Park. Different stores, boutiques, REI store, also locally owned stores, cafes, coffee shops, restaurants, a lot of great stuff there that is right in the walking distance from a residential section of Biltmore Park. And residential section also has kind of subsections of it. As you drive through all those different streets of Biltmore Park, you can kind of get an idea. One section that is kind of closest to the retail and to commercial side of Biltmore Park, or closer in walking distance to all those little things there, is probably more affordable. Well, these days it's not so affordable, but it has smaller houses, have smaller yards, and they all kind of look the same, meaning same size, same architectural style and stuff like that. And then another section might have different houses, bigger yards, different style houses, and so on and so forth. Also, Biltmore Park has 3, if not, well, if you count Ramble, it has 4 entrances. Main entrance is right off of Long Shoals Road, that is right next to the interstate. So you are minutes away from hopping on an interstate, which, by the way, I-26 can be a nightmare in Asheville, but we measure everything by our standards of traffic, so maybe it's not going to be as bad for you. Biltmore Park is also just 1 exit away from the airport, Asheville Regional Airport. Keep that in mind. It is super convenient on one hand. On the other hand, and that might be a con for some people, you might hear some airplane noise right over your head because the airport is right next door, basically. Median sales price in Biltmore Park last year was $950,000, which is kind of, it doesn't really represent or give you the full picture of Biltmore Park, because again, it has all these little pocket neighborhoods in Biltmore Park. So one part might be more affordable and will be in that, $800,000 to $900,000 price range. Another section will be completely in a different price range. It will be like $1 million plus, $1.5 million plus. So across the board, it's under $1 million. So it might give you an illusion that, it's more affordable. The inventory is low, so it's really hard to find anything anywhere. But that's Biltmore Park. I actually made a video about Biltmore Park very long time ago when I not first started, but it's been a while. I'm gonna put it in the description just in case you want to check it out. The numbers there, of course, will be different from what they are now in terms of sales, but let me know in the comments if you want a new refreshed video about Biltmore Park, a new look at what's going on there right now in 2024. And last but not least on my list, number 5 is Biltmore Lake. Biltmore Lake, unlike all other neighborhoods that I talked about in this video so far, is located in a completely different part of town. Biltmore Lake is located west of Asheville, pretty much located in ℍ𝕠𝕟𝕟𝕼, but it has its own address, Biltmore Lake, as the name of the town. Biltmore Lake sits on 62 acres with a mountain lake right in the middle of it. With over 750 homes in Biltmore Lake at this point, Biltmore Lake is built out. In fact, one of my clients who found me on this channel bought one of the last 2 houses at Biltmore Farms was building in Biltmore Lake. Biltmore Farms is the original developer of Biltmore Lake. So they are done, they are out of there, they're not building anymore. But somebody bought a pretty big piece of property there in Biltmore Lake a couple years ago. It was several acres, and they may or may not build more houses there. There are some other vacant lots available in Biltmore Lake, so there's opportunity to buy some vacant lots in Biltmore Lake and live there. But the original developer of Biltmore Lake is out of there. So if you want to jump on that boat, there are a few more vacant lots available in Biltmore Lake, and you can be surrounded by this natural beauty of the mountains, the woods, the lake. ℍ𝕑𝕠𝕟 National Forest is right next door with tons and tons of trails, and you can enjoy the life in Biltmore Lake with amenities that include tennis courts, basketball courts, the lake that residents can use for fishing, kayaking, and non-motorized boating. Also, there are playgrounds for kids and tons and tons of sidewalks. So Biltmore Lake is very walkable. It is not super hilly, so houses are more or less, Asheville speaking, on a flat ground. I mean, some of them do have some steep driveways, but for the most part, Biltmore Lake is more or less leveled. Now, that lake is, of course, a huge attraction for a lot of people who want to be closer to water and enjoy the lake, but keep in mind, if you do not live in Biltmore Lake, or if you're not a guest of somebody who lives in Biltmore Lake, you cannot use the lake. I heard somebody say recently that if you live west of Asheville or in the ℍ𝕠𝕟𝕟 area, look, there's a lake, as if anybody can just pop by and use the lake. No, that's not the case. You cannot use the lake unless you live in the neighborhood. And wouldn't you want to have a protection and restriction like that where only residents can use the lake? I mean, I think it's only fair because you're the one who's paying HOA. An interesting thing about Biltmore Lake is that a portion of it is gated and the main part is not gated. And so HOA fees will be very different in gated part of Biltmore Lake versus non-gated. You, of course, not going to be able to get into the gated part unless you have an invitation or you have a scheduled showing with your agent. The sales price in Biltmore Lake, in the whole Biltmore Lake, is in the low $900,000. And of course, that again is skewed by more affordable, smaller, newer homes that are in those pocket neighborhoods that have been built recently. And if you look at the gated part, it's going to be mostly houses that will cost at least $1 million. Here you have it, 5 neighborhoods that have Biltmore as part of their name, but they're all very different neighborhoods. Now, I didn't take into consideration, and I didn't even mention other neighborhoods, other associations that might also have the name Biltmore as part of their name. Most of the time, those are condos or townhomes communities. So residences at Biltmore by Kenilworth is one example, and some other ones. So you will see other places that have the name Biltmore in it. In fact, Biltmore is such a huge name that is used in different marketing for different companies and stuff like that. But these are main 5 places that you need to know so that you can be basically an expert and be informed as a local here in the Asheville area.